You smile when someone asks how you're doing. You say, "I'm fine," when your chest feels hollow. You laugh at the right moments, nod through conversations, post the perfect photos. But inside, there's a weight you carry alone, a sadness you've learned to dress up in brightness, a pain you've trained yourself to hide so well that even you forget it's there, until the silence comes, until you're alone, and the mask slips, and you remember. You've been pretending for so long. You're not sure who you are without the performance anymore. It started earlier than you remember. Maybe you were the child who learned that your emotions were too much, that your sadness made the adults uncomfortable, that your tears created tension. So you learned to smile instead. You learned that happiness was rewarded, that brightness kept you safe, that being easy and cheerful meant you were loved. You watched your parents' faces light up when you were joyful and darken when you were not. And somewhere in that tender, formative space, you made a quiet deal with the world. I will be happy for you, so you will stay. You learned to read rooms before you entered them, to gauge moods before you spoke, to shape yourself into whatever emotional temperature felt safest. If the room needed light, you became light. If someone needed cheering up, you performed joy. Your own feelings became secondary, negotiable, something to manage in private. You became the person who made others comfortable, the one who never brought heaviness, the one who could always be counted on to keep things positive. And they loved you for it, but they never knew you. Not really. Inside, you were building a second life, a hidden one, where the real feelings lived, the anger that had nowhere to go, the grief you couldn't name, the exhaustion of constant performance, the loneliness of never being truly seen. You weren't faking happiness because you were deceptive. You were faking it because you believed that's what love required. That acceptance was conditional, that your worth was tied to your ability to be easy, pleasant, undemanding. You learned that your authentic self was too much, too heavy, too real. So you hid her, and you've been hiding her ever since. This is what psychologists call emotional suppression paired with performative coping. It's a survival strategy born from emotional invalidation. When a child's genuine emotions are consistently dismissed, minimized, or met with discomfort, they learn to split themselves. The acceptable self and the hidden self. The mask and the truth. You develop what's called a false self, a concept psychologist Donald Winnicott described as a persona we create to meet others' expectations while our true self goes underground. This wasn't weakness. This was adaptation. You learn to prioritize others' emotional comfort over your own emotional honesty because that's what kept you connected, safe, valued. But adaptation comes with a cost, and you're paying it now. In adulthood, this pattern doesn't just continue, it intensifies. You enter relationships where you're still performing, still managing everyone else's emotions, still afraid that if you show your real feelings, darkness, frustration, need, you'll be too much. You'll be abandoned. So you keep smiling. You say you're fine when you're falling apart. You show up for everyone while disappearing from yourself. Your relationships feel close but not intimate. People think they know you, but they only know the version you've allowed them to see. The curated one, the safe one, the one that never asks for too much. You struggle with boundaries because boundaries require honesty, and honesty feels dangerous. If you say no, they might leave. If you express disappointment, they might think you're difficult. If you admit you're struggling, they might see you as a burden. So you say yes when you mean no. You stay quiet when you want to scream. You minimize your pain because you internalize the belief that your pain doesn't matter as much as everyone else's comfort. And exhaustion is chronic, bone deep, because pretending is labor. Constant, invisible, unacknowledged labor. You're also disconnected from your own emotional truth. You've worn the mask so long, you're not always sure what you really feel anymore. Someone asks if you're okay, and you automatically say yes before you've even checked in with yourself. You become a stranger to your own inner world. Your body holds the truth your mind won't acknowledge. The tension in your shoulders, the tightness in your chest, the insomnia, the vague sense of emptiness that follows you even in moments of supposed happiness. Your body is trying to tell you what your mind keeps denying. This isn't sustainable. This isn't living. This is surviving. And here's the wound you don't want to look at, the one you keep running from. You're afraid that if people saw the real you, the messy, complicated, sometimes dark and heavy you, they wouldn't stay. You believe at your core that you are only lovable when you are easy, that your value is conditional, that love is something you earn through performance rather than something you deserve simply by existing. This belief is a scar from childhood, a conclusion you drew when you were too young to know better. But you're still living inside that conclusion, still organizing your entire life around a lie you internalized before you could even name it. And this is what it's costing you. You're losing time. Years of your one precious life spent pretending, performing, hiding. You're losing intimacy. Real connection requires vulnerability, and you've trained yourself to never be vulnerable. You're losing yourself. The parts of you that are raw and real and complicated, they're atrophying in the darkness, and you're losing the possibility of being loved for who you actually are. Because as long as you're wearing the mask, any love you receive feels hollow. You can't fully trust it, because they don't love you. They love the performance. And you know it. But here's what you need to understand. The people who will leave you for being real are not your people. They never were. They were drawn to the mask, not the person wearing it. And losing them isn't loss. It's liberation. It's making space for the people who can handle your full humanity, who don't need you to be light all the time, who can sit with you in the dark, who love you not despite your complexity, but because of it. Those people exist, but you'll never find them if you keep hiding. Healing begins when you start telling the truth. Small truths at first. Actually, I'm not okay today. I need support. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Watch what happens when you risk honesty. Some people will disappoint you. They'll minimize your feelings or pull away, and that will hurt. But it will also show you who's safe, who can hold space for your full emotional range, who truly sees you and wants to stay anyway. These are your people. These are the relationships worth investing in. You need to reconnect with your inner child, the one who learned to hide. Sit with her. Tell her she doesn't have to perform anymore, that her real feelings matter, that she is worthy of love exactly as she is. No mask required. This is reparenting work. You're giving yourself what you didn't receive. Unconditional acceptance. Permission to feel everything. Safety to be authentic. This is how you integrate the split. How you bring the hidden self back into the light. Learn to recognize emotional suppression in your body. When you automatically say, I'm fine, pause. Check in. What's actually true right now? Let yourself feel it without judgment. Anger isn't bad. Sadness isn't weakness. Heaviness isn't a burden. These are human emotions, and they deserve space. Practice saying them out loud, even just to yourself. I am angry. I'm sad. I am exhausted. The more you name what's true, the less power the mask is over you. Understand that people-pleasing isn't kindness. It's self-abandonment. Real kindness includes yourself. Boundaries aren't walls. They're invitations to authentic relationship. When you stop managing everyone else's emotions, you free both them and you. You give them the opportunity to show up for you, and you give yourself the opportunity to be known. Truly known. This is vulnerable. It's terrifying, and it's the only path to real intimacy. You are not too much. You never were. You were just surrounded by people who were too little. People who couldn't hold your full emotional truth. But their limitation was never your flaw. Your real self, the one beneath the mask, she is worthy of love. She is enough. She always was. The work now is learning to believe it, to live it, to stop performing and start existing. Fully, authentically, messily, beautifully. The mask protected you when you needed protection. Honor her for that. It kept you safe when you were small and powerless. But you're not small anymore. You're not powerless. You have choices now. And the bravest choice you can make is this: to let people see you, the real you, to risk rejection for the possibility of real connection, to stop faking happiness and start feeling everything. Because a life of authentic sadness, joy, anger, love, messiness, all of it, is infinitely richer than a lifetime of performed contentment. You deserve to be seen, not the version of you that makes others comfortable. The real you, complicated, contradictory, ever-changing. That person is worthy of love. That person is enough. And when you finally let her breathe, when you finally take off the mask, you'll understand what you've been missing. Not just connection with others, but connection with yourself. And that is where real happiness begins.